1, 2, 1, 2. T.O.M. Teachers of Maat. Who am I today? The scribe, been forever, but the name changes with the times. I come from a place where space is home. I go into realms where your face is gone. A change gon' come. As a teen, hypnotized deep in a sleep, party and slumber. 11 life path number, a life of death that's rebirth. Recall realities to reemerge. Soul purge, I'll lend you frequency like loan words. Before I teach, I'll spit a poem first. Step on stage, set the stage, car walking, set ablaze, divine fire. The body is divine attire, sewn from words. Sound frequency, awakening dreams. Don't pinch me every day I wake up, it's a home birth. Start from zero to become the heroes. Cycles of time causes expansion of mind. Potential is exponential. Gain XP, what your power made of. I've had to face self, face to fate, a double fate. What will I make of the present? I'm just trying to pet heaven. Twice great, 2 arms up is none to wave. It's nothing to wave. God separate the waters from the waters. Genesis 1 and 6. See, that source is thousands of years prior to a Bible even existing. It's called the pet word for heaven. Watchers of noon, primordial, pre-ordered, bringing order in order. Its laws the scales will represent. A double gift, re-present, Ray is present. Ra, amen to the God inside. The crown will glow as consciousness grows. So what assignment are you on? I do my best to do my best. Lead with the left, heart out my chest. By step out of the flesh. On my crown is the AFFIRMATIONS, corona shining. I do my best to do my best. Lead with the left, heart out my chest. By step out of the flesh. On my crown is the AFFIRMATIONS, corona shining. Serpent mind winding in alignment. Straight from Orion, the origins. Dig into the root, Camp originals, the oracle speaking. Your aura is gleaming. The sons of God, Amen, Ra. Who can't afford a reason to fall below your own means, meaning reaching beyond the firmament ceiling. I see linguistics tricking us deep into sleeping. The way we live inception, I must be dreaming. Doubles, double L, square root, mirrors, reverse the image. My grip was slipping. Almost forgot the point of the mission. Statements point out all the contradictions. Blatant truth lives where my eye is foundation. Yeah, co-founded a nation. Dictionary study spells can be scary. Etymology, this here is completion. Cycle circles, dualism, wisdom. I peddle flowers. 2 eyes are watching to see through the double realm I'm healing. Never out of what's within him. Infinite reasons, just like my brother Arcad. Always remain calm against demons. Death culture, to be alive here, it's a lie here. They crossed us into thinking that death isn't living. The lies are falling through my palms, arm wide, holes in my hand. The Pope's in command, I demand the throne back. Ancient teachings, I'm a throwback. Picture that, see this moment here is cold that. So black, I see through lies. Why they hold that, ocean motions. I'm flowing through noon in the boats of consciousness. My tongue is rolling, planting seeds, sowing. Neov speaking, untangled quantum DNA, spitting frequencies. I hear Christians scream hallelujah, and this ain't that the name of God is God. I must bring the order back, the scales are tipping. In the court of Allah, moonshine, Tehuti is Yah. This here is Ptah, bulldozing, the one chosen. Focus, when the light hits you, just open like lotus. Melt your mind when in mind time is frozen. Blow minds, my mind is golden. Coat me in gold, I've got a gold coat round me like I'm T.O.M. Like his, when you spell my name, put 3 lines in. Scribe, presenting the law's findings. Who's he? I me, an echo of Tehuti. Yes, I do my best to do my best. Lead with the left, heart out my chest. By step out of the flesh. On my crown is the AFFIRMATIONS, corona shining. We do our best to do our best.
of it. This is the whole purpose of actually doing the Midnighter class on the Purim Heru, was to get everybody in the mind state of Hika, because the Purim Heru is a book of Hika. It's a book of magic. It's a book of immortality, out-of-body experiences. It's a book of several spells. It is all about the other realm and its connection to this realm and how you can merge the two. So I just never allowed the questions of actual ritual or magical practice other than the one-on-one. You'll see it looks like a sieve. Everybody know what a sieve is?
No.
A sieve is like a strainer. You can pour rice on it and only the water will go through, or you separate. It's like a screen. You pour something on it and it separates things. Thinner aspects can go through the K. Today's equivalent is a K or a Q. So we have Kes, which is bone, body, skeleton. The inner part of you that actually produces the blood within the bone marrow. So it's flesh and blood, which is bones, which is the Kes. So here, Kes ties in again is homage. Kes. Whether it's spelled like that or spelled like any of the other 20 ways that the beautiful thing with the men. Where this came from, and how Venus associates with an actual shining planet, and how that became the Lucifer of Christianity, which is the Luic cipher, the encircled light, which sometimes can be Venus, and sometimes can be the Kenti was the royal area of the beginnings. That's where the modern day Greek historians say that men came. That when they went and talked to the so-called Ethiopians, they said that that Kemet was an area reestablished.
Brother is. I had to relearn what a sister is. I had to relearn what a mother is. There is no other him. Watch your mouth, fix your lips. I am learning to compartmentalize what I find with my mentals. I could have been labeled mental voices in my head. If I speak to the wrong one, I'll be diagnosed schizophrenic. Creating pollution you can't escape from. We're Captain Planet. Where's Captain Planet? And it's exactly how they planned it. It's insanity, stayed in a state of sanity. But I'm the scribe, keep a record on the record, I break records. This, that, medu, nature, echo, living, lively, times 3, trinity. We are not the same, not even simile. Plant the seed, a man receive excellence, adoration, testaments, evaluation, literally. The love is real, yet they be hating. Salutations, I wait to master patience. Acting lackadaisy on your facts, I'm back by conscious beings. I am free, can't lock the wings in. The diction is firm, call me men. A man, 3 in 1, erection, protection, firm. Spitting life into who I speak to like sperm. Creation is a who I earned. The right to fully see it through. The heart as I rise through. Manu, Akut. Lost it when I had to find you. I'm through. Times two. Dualism. We will align soon. As I meditate in my room, it becomes a space of pure truth aligned with my eyes. Verbiage is time for more than the two eyes. I can see the veil underneath that other veil. Focus when I am locked in. I don't need a cell. Tell me you don't see the traps. Tower power over enemies. Frozen over hell. Reversing spells. Fell from the skies. The body is disguised. If you needed a sign, well this is it. I hope you read between the lines. Left, right. After the first step, I write what's left in me. This is destiny. Keep on moving, especially if you find blockage. No amount of pushback will stop this. This will get cats in stone. They cannot top this. Pyro, fire, Ba is my attire. Inspire the ones chosen, the ones open, the ones spoken. From times when life was once spoken. Enchantments, Nesu, double tongue in motion. Give, receive. Keep moving and move for keeps. Keep it real, keep the master key. I had to master me. Mirror glass shattered in my dreams. I didn't like the image till I realized I am the image of the image. I'm here for keeps. Keep your distance. Social gimmicks. Our stories told within the hieroglyphics. Mystics, just keep on living. We're gifted. Our stories told within the hieroglyphics. A language living. Just keep on living. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep. I had to relearn what a brother is. I had to relearn what a sister is. I had to relearn what a mother is. There is no other him. Watch your mouth, fix your lips. Yeah, motivate a nation. Stepping out the spaceship, causing a spaceship. Faced with revealing the spells within this matrix. From the Masons, but I'm the architect. Best respect, I can architect. Rule your rulership, I hold the heck. Control my thoughts, still move when the game is paused. We speak heck up, this is the best of Medu Necha, bars like Wi-Fi, we're connected. Always on time, frequency and flow. Flow through frequency, I know the power I hold in my throat. Creation, destruction, with every single thing I've spoke. Enter, netter, Kurt, show your worth. Heal from all the hurt, not a singer, best believe I hold a note. Read between the lines, you're not really lost in that. I hope you find exactly what you are looking for. This is more than words, taught myself to heal myself. I come from the dirt, no time for slacking or bad habits. Sad tactics of bringing mad tragic mental processes that lack passion. Spit fire, black dragon, school of hard knocks, send you backpacking. My eyes, when this appears, it's like magic. The fact is, when it's wartime, we go savage. Shield of armor 720, prevent backstabbing all the fiends of good-hearted beings. They don't suit the role, they lack the fashion. So just keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep.
Hotep, peace and love, everybody.
Peace.
Welcome. How's my sound?
Sounds great.
Good. Hotep, peace and love, everybody. Welcome to Teachings of Maat Study Guide Sunday. Today's topic is the Contendings of Horus and Set by ATEF Maat from teachingsofmaat.org. Before we begin our reading, we will begin as we do every week with our beautiful affirmation. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Anki Maat, An NS, Nintet or Set Maat, Menhe Papet Maat, Her Inhu Kui, Per Iku. I live for Maat. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Maat. Every day I advance towards Maat. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light. Hotep Maat, welcome everybody. I am ATEF Maat. I am the chairman of the organization, the Techetu. I'm a student of the master teacher, the great Tehuti Amenhotep Ra, the host of this weekly study guide, Teachings of Maat, a true-hearted follower of truth based on ancestral artifacts over religious opinion. a lover of my people, and dedicated to learning the metal netter, and a loyal defender of Maat. Next, we have the mighty Ahati Maat. Ahati Maat was taught under the great Tehuti Amenhotep Ra. He has been a serious student and teacher of Kemetic culture and history for several years. He has wrote multiple books, including the textbook called Journey of Your Soul series, essays, and articles. Furthermore, he hosts in-person and online classes, weekly podcasts, and periodically creates documentaries. He also has experience in public speaking and academic debating, and he is also responsible for his weekly study guide, Teachings of Maat. Next, we have the mighty scribe, Ani Ptah Aten Tehuti, is a writer, poet, spoken word artist, audio producer, and engineer, healer, spiritual advisor, and consultant and business creator. He is a master student of the LITURE, a true follower and protector of Maat, a scribe of Tehuti and Maat. He studies under the master teacher, Saba Tehuti Amenhotep Ra. For the scribe, quality always outweighs quantity. He enjoys observing reality and incorporating these observations into his writings and creations to assist in awakening of dormant DNA and reversing of negative hypnosis. And we have the mighty Menkhu Meri Maat, specializes in training, educating youth workers, counselors, and educators about arts, culture, and history. He travels the world to experience how people live, and he shares it with everyone who is interested in learning from the research he has witnessed. Menkhu has a master's degree in entertainment and media business and has been working in the music industry and with nonprofit agencies providing program planning and promoting concerts and community events in the Madison area for over 30 years. During that time, he has facilitated the following innovative after-school programs for Madison School community recreation. Those are Hip Hop 101, Music Production 101, and MP4 programs for youth. Welcome to Teachings of Maat Study Guide Sundays. Hotep Maat.
Hotep.
Hotep, great brothers. Peace and love to everyone in the chat. Great brother Menkhu Ra. You can run down the Pathways to Awakening event. Everyone get your tickets.
Yes, get your tickets. Peace and love to the chat and everyone watching. We are having a in-person celebration October 28th in Los Angeles, California. And kind of hard to talk about this because I feel like people not really hearing. So anyways, it's gonna be a special event. We're gonna have a talent show. We're gonna have some great performances. We're gonna build. What can I say? We're gonna be family. We're gonna hang out. It's gonna be in LA. It's not too late to purchase your tickets. $250 first place prize. If you believe in yourself and you got talent, you know, that can pay for your ticket, your Airbnb. Hope you all can join us. I'm just looking forward to the miracle that this will be. I'm just looking forward to meeting people face to face. Looking forward to being with my brothers and being with my great leader. And I'm just learning how to be an organizer and a person that can shift cultures. This is my Maat, a follower of Maat response to the teachings of the master teacher, Saba Tehuti, who embodies wisdom, strength, and beauty in the highest form. We just saw our Saba teach, break down a movie that has shook everything I thought I knew. And so I'm just so proud to be a student of the greatest teacher that I've ever witnessed in my life. So you think I'm not coming to LA? Whatever. That's all I got to say. I don't got no talk. I let my actions speak for me. I don't really talk. I don't do the talking thing. I don't like to talk. It's like my least favorite thing to do is talking. I do not like to talk. I'm an action person. Let my actions speak for me. I don't play. So that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. I'm done. Boom. Boom.
Hotep. I'm the Techetu. I don't like talking too much neither.
Do not talk. It takes so much energy. I could. It would be easier for me to build a coup than talk. Like I love ATEF and Saba, and I need y'all make it look so effortless. I need to be rapping, spitting bars that I can't. It hurts I have really sensitive lungs. Like my chest, like I do not like talking, but I'll build you a Mer. I bet you I can.
Peace. I don't like talking either. I'd rather sit in the corner and read a book.
Yeah, absolutely. To our great brother for those words.
I had to drink some water. Like that's how strenuous it is for me to talk. It's like I just did a set of lifting weights. I have to drink some water after that.
Yes, absolutely. You know, it can be taxing. So yes, everyone, you know, like you said, get your tickets, join the talent show. We have people definitely coming out to who have, you know, signed up for the talent show with that chance to win $250. So yes, to everyone come out. All right. So of course, before the great brother goes in and reads the contendings of Heru Set, we definitely want to put that if you support what we are doing and you want to pay your tuition, send it to the Cash App or PayPal, Teachings of Maat. The link is also pinned at the top of the chat from our great moderator, Primordial Thought 9. Henu to you, good brother. So the links are also pinned to the top of the chat, and they're also in the description box. So at any point in time throughout this presentation or throughout this reading, you feel inclined to assist what we're doing and show your appreciation and pay your tuition, then absolutely, this is how you do it. Peace and love to all the great supporters. All right, MetaNetter Mondays. If you're not a part of MetaNetter Monday, absolutely email Tehuti mysticaltelevision@gmail.com. Start to gather up those recordings while they are available. So, you know, take advantage of the information that's being brought forth. So Hotep to all the great MetaNetter students. Hotep and Henu to everyone who's watching us on Rumble as well. Peace and love to you. You can also support through what's called a rant. That's the Rumble equivalent to the Super Chat over here on YouTube. So we also have those options as well, Super Chat and rants to also show your support. So Hotep to everyone on Rumble. We now have memberships open here on YouTube as well. So you can do what the great brother Stephen E did and went ahead and signed up for a monthly support base here that YouTube offers. So you can definitely take advantage of that. Choose your tier. Hotep and Henu to my Naturt Neferkeperet, who also did the same thing and signed up for the membership here on YouTube. So Hotep to you all. And we received one support prior to the show, so let's give our Henu to this good brother here who sends in 727. Support the teachings of my organization. Donaldson. Hotep, good brother, Trenton Donaldson. We appreciate the support and for you showing some reciprocity towards the teachings, great brother. So Hotep to you. All right, so we hope to see some support that comes through. Hotep to everyone. Let's see who's Angela Gates, always the first one. Hotep to you, good sister. Tua for being here. We definitely appreciate your energy. Primordial Thought 9. Hotep, peace and love. Jay Kirkland's here with the emojis. Absolutely, and giving his Henu. to the T.O.M and to you all, and this wonderful brother here. So Tua, Neferkeperet is here. Hotep. I see Angela Gates says, I was looking forward to meeting you all, but I'm not going to be able to make it this year. Sad face. Yes. Okay, well, maybe next year you'll be able to come out, and we definitely do look forward to meeting you, the wonderful sister Angela Gates. My Heru is here. Hotep, peace. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna show the papyrus that we're gonna be reading from, which is the Chester Beatty 1 papyrus. So let me share my screen and show some of this. All right, so this is part of the papyrus of the Chester Beatty. And there are many different papyruses of the Chester Beatty. So they're numbered. So this papyrus here is the Chester Beatty 1. And as I said, there's many different types of papyri, different types of writings, even biblical writings, which have the title Chester Beatty in front of it, simply because that's where it resides. So this is Chester Beatty 1 right here, and this is where the most complete version of Heru and the Contendings of Horus and Set exist. And you know, like the majority of the papyruses that we bring forth and I showcase, is that there are on these papyruses, there's two sides. There's what they call the recto and the verso. So it's two different sides. So throughout these papyruses, there's many different stories on one papyrus. So yes, this is where Heru Set lives, but there's also a section where there's a hymn to Amun, because this is what the scribes would do. They would practice by writing the stories, by writing the Seba'it, and utilizing the entire papyrus for some type of literature. So yes, Contendings of Heru Set, Chester Beatty Papyrus 1.3, because there's multiple plates, and so this is here's the meta-netter and the transliteration, the English alongside. This was very difficult to find, but there's a certain section here that I have that I wanted the meta-netter for, so I can actually look at it for what it is. All right, and here's a layout of what a papyrus consists of, and this one specifically, the Chester Beatty number 1. So here is the beginning, because the hieratic is written from right to left. So here you start at the right side, and here's the beginning, and this is the recto, which is the front side of the papyrus, where you see the actual lines, the fibers of the papyrus going horizontally, and you see the actual measurements between the different what they call plates, right? And here's the verso, which will be the back side, or considered the left hand side of the book. The recto will be the right hand side, right recto, and the verso is the left. So here you see the fibers are actually now going vertically, right? So the actual creating of the papyrus and the way that the fibers connect. So they would utilize the one words majority horizontal lines to start their writings, and that would be called the recto. So this is the layout of it, and so this is what we're going to get into. Chester Beatty 1. This is a fantastic story, very powerful story. So we'll go ahead and let the great brother ATEF Maat take us through this journey of a very important story. There's so much in this that I'm sure we'll talk about at the end of the reading. So hope y'all are taking notes and write down what catches you and bring forward the questions to the Saba Tehuti's pod class, because there's many beautiful there's some just information that we're going to get into that the great brother's going to read. So Hotep, everyone, be sure to show your support, send in your reciprocity to the Cash App or PayPal. And all right, ready when you are, great brother. Tefrem Kim Maat.
Hotep, peace. Can you hear me? How's my sound?
Yes, you sound good.
All right, peace. Hotep, everybody. Welcome again to another beautiful reading, another beautiful class. Peace and love to everybody in the chat. I see you. My Heru, peace and love to you, Henu, good brother. Peace and love to Angela Gates. Peace and love to everybody. We are going to begin. Share my screen. And we are reading from Literature of Ancient Egypt by William Kelly Simpson. Entire screen. My screen sharing.
Yes.
Can you see the book? This is the title of the book. This book right here, William Kelly Simpson, The Literature of Ancient Egypt. And we are going to begin on page 91, The Contendings of Horus and Set. And right off the bat, when I started reading this, I was reminded of what our great Saba said when he said that they study us, but they don't practice the culture. So it's evidenced by this beginning. But I'm going to read this for everyone so you guys can see and hear for yourself. So here it goes. The Contendings of Horus and Set. This the longest.
Hey, brother Tef.
Yes.
Before you get started, your mic is making some type of noise when you speak. Sounds like it's rubbing up against something.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Hold on.
All right, as the great brother gets his mic together.
How is it now? Can you hear it? How is it?
Okay, I think it sounds better.
Better? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but we'll go.
It's back now.
Yeah, we still here.
Yeah, it's doing it again. It's weird. It sounds like shuffling, something shuffling. Ahati, can you share a little bit about your background? Who are we seeing your background?
How about now?
Go ahead and speak some.
Peace. Can y'all hear me now?
Yes, it's just some background noise. It sounds like something
a fan?
here. Yeah,
Is it
a fan. Yes, great brother Menkhu Ara. This is Horemheb, who was the scribe, who started off as a scribe, and as you see right here when he's sitting with Heru, this is when he became Par-Ii or Nesubiti. So this is both the same Par-Ii, but this was prior to him becoming Par-Ii when he was just a scribe. And yeah, it's a beautiful architecture here. Like this is one of my favorite statues of a scribe, and it's just beautiful.
Tua for sharing that. Yeah, I like those a lot. I noticed it. So, yeah. Your mic does not sound good. It sounds lower and it's like in and out. Great, brother.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely gotta. Yeah, it's beautiful. So I'm ready and excited to read this story. There's so much common things that come from this story. You know, this is definitely one of the most famous stories, and of course ties into whether or not, you know, whether the Natiru can just be principles if they're also holding council together, and you know, going to each other for communication and guidance. So this is a beautiful story of the Natiru, and trying to figure out the process of what do we do with what's going on here, because this is new, you know, the actual contention of Heru and Set, and that seat for the throne, you know. So they're trying to figure it out, you know. They're trying to figure out how do we handle this, how do we deal with this situation, and we're gonna see how they handle it, and who they give the power to make the final decision on who gets to sit on the throne, who takes the throne now. Heru Set.
Hotep.
Hotep.
Is that better?
Yeah, it's way better.
Okay. There's too many buttons, man. There's too many buttons on the machine, bro. I'm just gonna keep it real.
Yes.
It's too many buttons. All right, let's go. Hotep,
right.
everybody. Appreciate your patience. Let's do it. Entire screen. Boom. Boom. All right, it still sound good, right?
Yes.
It sounds better than before. Yes.
Yes.
All right. I need it to sound excellent, bro. I need it to be fantastic. Let's see if I push that button. Do it still sound good?
Yes, it sounds
right.
good.
All right. So we're reading on page 91, the Contendings of Horus and Set. This, the longest of the New Kingdom stories, is perhaps the one with the least literary merit. See, right off the bat, foolishness. For there's very little in the way of suspense to maintain the reader's interest throughout the narrative. It is the theme of Horus's superiority over his rival Seth in contending for the throne, previously occupied by Horus's father, Osiris, that serves to bind together an episodically constructed tale, whose narrative style is especially monotonous. The section in which Isis harpoons the two rivals who had transformed themselves into hippopotamuses appears independently in two Ramesside papyri that are calendars of lucky and unlucky days. Some of the episodes, such as the homosexual encounter between the two protagonists, are alluded to in earlier religious literature of the Old and Middle Kingdoms. The Contendings is best appreciated in terms of the function of the mythological oriented short story during the New Kingdom. This particular story, preserved to us on a papyrus of the reign of Ramesses, contains some other compositions of literary worth, so that it would seem that the papyruses may have been used by its owner for the purpose of entertaining himself and others. The behavior of some of the great netters is at points so shocking that it is hard to imagine that no humor was intended. Yet at the same time, the story provides the reader with basic mythical concepts, such as a dichotomy between coarse humor, even about the netters, and seriousness in religion characterized the Ramesside age. Although, in the resolution of the story, Horus is awarded his father's kingship, Seth is not totally defeated, for he is given a place in the scheme of things as an assistant to the sun god. It might be inferred that contention was a necessary prerequisite for the proper functioning of the kingship to bring about harmony in society. The tale concludes with a brief hymn in praise of Horus's ascendancy to the throne. The Contendings is translated and treated extensively in Michel Brose, Mythe in et Roman et Egypte, Ani, Les Adventure, D. Heru Set, Dansley, Papyrus, Chester Betty, 1, Brussels, 1996. So we will begin. There came to pass the adjudication of Horus and Set, mysterious in their forms and mightiest of the princes and magnates who had ever come into being. Now, it was a young Neter that was seated in the presence of the universal Lord, claiming the office of his father Osiris, beautiful in his appearance, the son of Ptah, who illumines the west with his sheen, while Tehuti was presenting the sound eye to the great prince who is in Halopius. Then said Shu, the son of Re, in the presence of Aten, the great prince who is in Halopius, justice is the possessor of power. Administer it by saying, award the office to Horus. Then said Tehuti to the Ennead, that's correct 1,000,000 times. Thereupon Set let out a loud cry, rejoicing exceedingly, and she stood before the universal Lord and said, North wind, go to the west, impart the good news to Anaphorus, LHP. Then said Shu, the son of Re, the one who presents the sound eye is loyal to the Ennead. Statement by the universal Lord. What's the meaning of your exercising authority alone by yourselves, Oniris? Then said he, Horus, shall assume the cartouche of Horus, and the white crown shall be placed upon his head. And so the universal Lord was silent a long while, being furious at this Ennead. Then Set, the son of Nut, said, have him dismissed outside with me, and you will, I assure you, see my hands prevail over his hands in the presence of the Ennead, since there is not known any other method of disposing him. Tehuti then said to him, shouldn't we ascertain who is the impostor? Is the office of Osiris to be awarded to Set even while his son Horus is still about? Harakhuti became exceedingly furious, for it was Pri's wish to award the office to Set, great in virility, the son of Nut. Anuris let out a loud cry before the face of the Ennead, saying, what are we going to do? Then Aten, the great prince who is in Halopius, said, let Bandejed, the great living god, be summoned, that he may judge between the two youths. Benedejed, the great Neter who resides in Shehel, and Ptah were brought before Aten, who told them, judge between the two youths. Stop them from being engaged so in quarreling every day. Thereupon Benedejed, the great living Neter, answered what he had said. Let's not exercise our authority ignorantly. Have a letter sent to Neith the Great, the God's mother. As for what she will say, we shall do it. The Ennead then said to Benedejed, the great living God, they have been adjudged already in the primeval time. In the one are the truths, court. Then the Ennead said to Tehuti in the presence of the universal Lord, please draw up a letter to Neith the Great, the God's mother, in the name of the universal Lord, the bull who resides in Halopius. Tehuti said, I'll do so. Yes, I'll do so. I'll do so. Then he sat down to draw up the letter and wrote, the king of Upper and Lower Egypt, Aten, beloved of Tehuti, the lord of the two lands, the Halopian, the solar disk that illumes the two lands with its sheen, the Nile mighty in flooding, Ra-Harakuti, while Neith the Great, the god's mother who illumined the first face, is alive, healthy, and rejuvenating. The living manifestation of the universal Lord, the bull in Halopias, being the good king of Egypt, to wit, I, your humble servant, spend all night on Osiris's behalf inquiring about the two lands each day, while Sobek endures forever. What are we going to do with these two individuals, who for 80 years now have been in court, but no one has been able to judge between the two? Please write us what we should do. Then Neith the Great, the god's mother, sent a letter to the Ennead saying, award the office of Osiris to his son Horus. Don't commit such blatant acts of injustice which are improper, or I shall become so furious that the sky touches the ground. And let the universal Lord, the bull, who resides in Halopias, be told, enrich Seth in his possessions, give him Anath and Astarte, your two daughters, and install Horus in the position of his father Osiris. And so the letter of Neith the Great, the god's mother, reached this Ennead as they were sitting in the Horus with the projecting horns court, and the letter was delivered to Tehuti's hands. Then Tehuti read it out in the presence of the universal Lord and the entire Ennead, and they declared unanimously, this goddess is correct. Then the universal Lord became furious at Horus and told him, you are despicable in your person, and this office is too much for you, you lad, the odor of whose mouth is bad. Onurus became furious to the nth degree, and so did the entire Ennead, constituting the council of the 30. LPH Bibon, the god, got right up and told Pre-Harakuti, your shrine is vacant. Pre-Harakuti took offense at the insult which was said to him and lay down on his back, very much saddened. And so the Ennead went outside and let out a loud cry before the face of Bibon, the netter. They told him, get out. This offense that you have committed is exceedingly great. And they departed to their tents. And so the great god spent a day lying on his back in his pavilion, very much saddened and alone by himself. After a long while, Hathor, lady of the southern sycamore, came and stood before her father, the universal Lord, and she exposed her private parts before his very eyes. Thereupon the great god laughed at her. Then he got up and sat down with the great Ennead. He said to Horus and Seth, speak for yourselves. Then Seth, great in virility, the son of Nut, said, as for me, I am Seth, greatest in virility among the Ennead, for I slay the opponents of Pre daily, while I am at the prow of the bark of millions, whereas not any other netter is able to do this. I should receive the office of Osiris. Then he said, Seth, the son of Nut, is correct. Onurus and Tehuti then let out a loud cry, saying, is the office to be awarded to a maternal uncle, even while the bodily son is still about? Then said Benadejed, the great living netter, is the office to be awarded to the lad, even while Seth, his older brother, is still about? The Ennead let out a loud cry before the face of the universal Lord, and said to him, what's the meaning of the words you spoke, which are unfit to be heard? Then said Horus, son of Isis, it's no good, this cheating for me in the presence of the Ennead and depriving me of the office of my father Osiris. Thereupon Isis became furious at the Ennead and took an oath by God in the presence of the Ennead as follows: by my mother Neith, the goddess, and by Ptah with lofty plumes, who curbs the horns of gods, these matters should be submitted before Aten, the great prince, who is in Helopius, and also before Khepri, who is in his bark. And the Ennead said to her, don't be angry. The rights will be given to the one who is in the right. All that you've said will be done. Seth, the son of Nut, became furious at the Ennead, because they had said these words to Isis the Great, the god's mother. So Seth said to them, I shall take my scepter of 4,500 nimset weight and kill one of you a day. And then Seth took an oath by the universal Lord, saying, I shall not contend in court as long as Isis is in it. Pre-Harakuti then told them, you shall ferry across to the island in the middle and decide between them there. And tell Nimti, the ferryman, not to ferry any woman across resembling Isis. And so the Ennead ferried across to the island in the middle and sat down and ate bread. Then Isis, having transformed herself into an old woman who walked with a stoop and wearing a small golden signet ring on her hand, came and approached Nimti, the ferryman, as he was sitting near his boat. She said to him, it's in order that you might ferry me across to the island in the middle that I've come to you, for I've come with this blowful of flour for the young lad, because for 5 days now he has been tending some cattle on the island in the middle and is hungry. He said to her, I've been told not to ferry any woman across. But she said to him, it's with reference to Isis that you've been told this which you've just said. He asked her, will you give me that you may be ferried across to the island in the middle? And Isis answered him, I will give you this cake. Then he said to her, what good will it be to me, your cake? Is it in exchange for your cake that I should ferry you across to the island in the middle, even though I was told not to ferry any woman across? Then she said to him, I will give you the golden signet ring which is on my hand. He told her, hand over the golden signet ring. And she gave it to him. Then he ferried her across to the island in the middle. Now, as she was walking under the trees, she looked and saw the Ennead sitting, eating bread in the presence of the universal Lord in his pavilion. Seth looked and saw her when she had come closer from afar. Then she conjured by means of her magic and transformed herself into a maiden whose body was beautiful and whose like did not exist in the entire land. Thereupon he desired her lasciviously. Seth got up from sitting eating bread with the great Ennead and went to meet her, for no one had seen her except himself. Then he stood behind a sycamore tree, and he called her and said to her, I am here with you, beautiful maiden. And she said to him, reflect, my great lord. As for me, I was the wife of a cattleman to whom I bore a son. My husband died, and the lad started tending his father's cattle. But then a stranger came and settled down in my stable. He said, thus speaking to my son, I shall beat you, confiscate your father's cattle, and evict you. Said he, speaking to him, now it is my wish to have you be a champion for him. Thereupon Seth said to her, are the cattle to be given to the stranger even while the man's son is still about? And so Isis transformed herself into a kite, flew up, and perched on top of the as perched upon a a seer tree. She called Seth and said to him, be ashamed of yourself. It's your own mouth that has said it. It's your own cleverness that has judged you. What more do you want? And so he became ashamed and went to where Pre-Herakuti was, still ashamed. Then Pre-Herakuti said to him, what more do you want? Seth answered him, that wicked woman came back to me. She has tricked me again, having transformed herself into a beautiful maiden before my eyes. She said to me, as for me, I was the wife of a cattleman who is dead. I bore him a son who tended some of his father's cattle. A stranger took lodging at my stable with my son, and I gave him food. Now, many days after this, the vagabond said to my son, I shall beat you and confiscate your father's cattle, and they will become mine. Said he in speaking to my son. So she said to me. Then Pre-Herakuti said to him, and what did you say to her? And Seth told him, I said to her, are the cattle to be given to the stranger, even while the man's son is still about? So I said to her, the vagabond's face should be struck with a rod, and he should be evicted, and your son put in his father's position. So I said to her. Thereupon Pre-Herakuti said to him, now look here, it's you yourself that has judged yourself. What more do you want? So Seth said to him, have Nimti the ferryman brought and severe punishment inflicted upon him, saying, why did you let her ferry across? So it shall be said to him. Then Nimti the ferryman was brought before the Ennead, and the forepart of his feet removed. So Nimti abjured gold even to this day in the presence of the great Ennead, saying, God shall be for me an abomination upon my city. Then the Ennead ferried across to the western bank and sat down on the mountain. Now afterward, at evening time, Pre-Herakuti and Aten, lord of the two lands, the Halopian, wrote to the Ennead saying, what are you doing still sitting there? As for the two youths, you will be having them finish out their lifetime in court. When my letter reaches you, you shall place the white crown upon the head of Horus, the son of Isis, and appoint him to the position of his father Osiris. Thereupon Set became terribly enraged, and so the Ennead said to Seth, why have you become so enraged? Isn't it in accordance with what Aten, lord of the two lands, the Halopian, and Pre-Herakuti have said that action should be taken? Then the white crown was placed upon the head of Horus, the son of Isis. Seth, being angry, let out a loud cry before the face of this Ennead, saying, is the office being awarded to my young brother, even while I, who am his elder brother, am still about? Then he took an oath as follows. The white crown shall be removed from the head of Horus, the son of Isis, and he shall be thrown into the water, so that I can contend with him for the office of ruler. Pre-Herakuti acquiesced. Thereupon Seth said to Horus, come, let's both transform ourselves into hippopotamuses and submerge in the deep waters in the midst of the sea. Now, as for the one who shall emerge within the span of 3 whole months, the office shall not be awarded him. Then they both submerged, and so Isis sat down and wept, saying, Seth has killed Horus, my son. Then she fetched a skein of yarn. She fashioned a line, took a Deben weight's worth of copper, cast it into a harpoon, tied the line to it, and hurled it into the water at the spot where Horus and Seth had submerged. Then the barb bit into the body of her son Horus. So Horus let out a loud cry, saying, help me, mother Isis, my mother. Appeal to your barb to let go of me. I am Horus, son of Isis. Thereupon Isis let out a loud cry and told her, barb, let go of him. See, that's my son Horus, my child. So her barb let him go. Then she hurled it back again into the water, and it bit the body of Seth. So Seth let out a loud cry, saying, "What have I done against you, my sister Isis? Appeal to your barb to let go of me. I am your maternal brother Isis." Then she felt very compassionate toward him. Thereupon Seth called to her, saying, "Do you love the stranger even more than your maternal brother Seth?" So Isis appealed to her barb, saying, "Let go of him. See, it's Isis' maternal brother whom you have bitten into." Then the barb let go of him. Horus, son of Isis, became furious at his mother Isis and came out with his face as fierce as an upper Egyptian's panther, holding his cleaver of 16 Deben weight in his hand. He removed the head of his mother Isis, put it in his arms, and ascended the mountain. Then Isis transformed herself into a statue of flint, which had no head. Pre-Heru said to Tehuti, "What is she who has come having no head?" So Tehuti told Pre-Heru, "My good lord, that's Isis the Great, the god's mother, whose head Horus, her son, has removed." Thereupon Pre-Heru let out a loud cry and said to the Ennead, Let go and inflict severe punishment upon him." Then the Ennead ascended the mountains in order to search for Horus, son of Isis. Now, as for Horus, he was lying under a Shenusha tree in the oasis land. Seth found him, seized hold of him, threw him down upon his back on the mountain, removed his 2 eyes from their sockets, and buried them on the mountain so as to illuminate the earth. His 2 eyeballs became 2 bulbs, which grew into lotuses. Seth came away and told Pre-Heru falsely, "I didn't find Horus," although he had found him. Then Hathor, mother of the southern sycamore, set out, and she found Horus laying, weeping in the desert. She captured a gazelle and milked it. She said to Horus, "Open your eyes that I may put this milk in." So he opened his eyes, and she put the milk in, putting some in the right one, putting some in the left one. She told him, "Open your eyes." He opened his eyes, and she looked at them. She found that they were healed. Then she went to tell Pre-Heru, "I found Horus after Seth had deprived him of his eyes, but I have restored him to health. See, he's back." Then said the Ennead, "Let Horus and Seth be summoned so that they may be judged." Then they were brought before the Ennead. The universal Lord said before the great Ennead to Horus and Seth, "Go and pay heed to what I tell you. You shall eat and drink so that we may have some peace. Stop quarreling so each day an end." Then Seth told Horus, "Come, let's make holiday in my house." And Horus answered him, "I'll do so. Yes, I'll do so. I'll do so." Now, afterwards, at evening time, bed was prepared for them, and together they lay down. During the night, Seth caused his phallus to become stiff and inserted it between Horus's thighs. Horus then placed his hands between his thighs and caught Seth's semen. Then Horus went to tell his mother Isis, "Help me, Isis, my mother. Come and see what Seth has done to me." And he opened his hands and let her see Seth's semen. She let out a loud cry, took up her knife, cut off his hands, threw them into the water, and restored for him hands that were equivalent. Then she got some fragrant ointment and applied it to Horus's phallus. She caused it to become stiff and inserted it into a pot, and he caused his semen to flow down into it. Isis at morning time went crying. Horus went carrying Horus's semen to the garden of Seth, and she said to Seth's gardener, "What sort of vegetable does Seth eat here in your company?" And the gardener answered her, He doesn't eat any vegetable here in my company except lettuce, and Isis put Horus's semen on it. Seth returned according to his daily habit and ate the lettuce, which he regularly ate. Thereupon he became pregnant with Horus's semen. So Seth went to tell Horus, "Come, let's go, that I may contend with you in court." Horus said to him, "I'll do so, yes, I'll do so, I'll do so." Then they both went to court and stood in the presence of the great Ennead. They were told, "Speak for yourselves." Then Seth said, "Let me be awarded the office of ruler, LPH, for as to Horus, the one who is standing at law, I have performed a man's work against him." The Ennead then let out a loud cry, and they spewed and spat at Horus's face. Horus laughed at them. Then Horus took an oath by God as follows: "All that Seth has said is false. Let Seth's semen be summoned, that we may see from where it answers, and my own be summoned, that we may see from where it answers." Then Tehuti, Lord of script and scribe of truth for the Ennead, laid his hand on Horus's shoulder and said, "Come out, you semen of Seth." And it answered him from the water in the interior of the marsh. Then Tehuti laid his hand on Seth's shoulder and said, "Come out, you semen of Horus." It said to him, "Where shall I come from?" Tehuti said to it, "Come out from his ear." Thereupon it said to him, "Am I, who am divine fluid, to come out merely from his ear?" Then Tehuti said to it, "Come out from the top of his head." And it emerged as a golden solar disk upon Seth's head. Seth became exceedingly furious and extended his hand to seize the golden solar disk. But Tehuti took it away from him and placed it as a crown upon his own head. Then the Ennead said, "Horus is right, Seth is wrong." Seth became exceedingly furious and let out a loud cry when they said, "Horus is right, Seth is wrong." And so Seth took a great oath by God as follows: "He shall not be awarded the office until he has been dismissed outside with me, and we build for ourselves some ships of stone and race each other. Now, as for the one who prevails over his rival, he shall be awarded the office of ruler, LPH." Then Horus built for him a ship of cedar, plastered it over with gypsum, and launched it into the water at evening time without anybody who was in the entire land noticing this. Seth saw Horus's ship and thought it was of stone, and he went to the mountain, cut off a mountaintop, and built for himself a ship of stone of 138 cubits. Then they embarked upon their ships in the presence of the Ennead, and Seth's ship sank in the water. So Seth transformed himself into a hippopotamus and scuttled Horus's ship. Horus then picked up his harpoon and hurled it at Seth's body. Then the Ennead told him, "Don't hurl it at him." He gathered in the tackle, stowed it in his ship, and sailed downstream to Sais in order to tell Neith the Great, the god's mother, "Let me be judged with Seth, since it is 80 years now that we have been in court, and no one has been able to judge between us, nor has he yet been vindicated against me. But it is 1,000 times now that I have been in the right against him each day, and yet he disregards all that the Ennead has said. I contended with him in the path of truth, court, and I was vindicated against him. I contended with him in the Horus with the projecting horns, court, and I was vindicated against him. I contended with him in the field of rushes, court, and I was vindicated against him. I contended with him in the pool of the field, court, and I was vindicated against him. And the Ennead told Shu, the son of Re, Horus, son of Isis, is correct in all that he has said. Statement which Tehuti made to the universal Lord. Have a letter sent to Osiris, so that he may judge between the two youths. Then said Shu, the son of Re, what Tehuti has told the Ennead is correct 1,000,000 times. The universal Lord then said to Tehuti, sit down and drop a letter to Osiris, that we may hear what he has to say. Tehuti sat down to fill out a letter to Osiris as follows. Bull, the lion who hunts for himself. 2 ladies protecting the gods and subduing the 2 lands. Horus of gold, who invented humankind in the primeval time. King of Upper and Lower Egypt. Bull residing in Holopius, LPH. Son of Ptah, beneficial to the 2 banks, appearing as father of his Ennead, while he feeds on gold and every precious glaze, in life, prosperity, and health. Please write us what we should do with Horus and Seth, so that we do not exercise our authority ignorantly. Now, many days after this, the letter reached the king, son of Re, great in bounty and lord of sustenance. He let out a loud cry when the letter was read out in his presence. Then he answered it very, very quickly, writing to where the universal Lord was together with the Ennead, saying, why should my son Horus be cheated, when it was I who made you mighty, and it was I who created barley and emmer to sustain the netters as well as the cattle, after the gods, whereas not any netter or any netert was competent enough to do it. So Osiris's letter reached the place where Pre-Herakhuti was, sitting together with the Ennead on the white mound of Osis. It was read out in his and the Ennead's presence, and Pre-Herakhuti said, please answer for me the letter very quickly to Osiris, and tell him in the letter, if you had not come into being, and if you had not been born, barley and emmer would exist anyway. The letter of the universal Lord reached Osiris, and it was read out in his presence. Then he wrote to Pre-Herakhuti again as follows. Very good is all that you have done, O you who invented the Ennead, as an accomplishment. Yet justice has been allowed to sink down within the netherworld. Please look at the situation also on your part. As for the land in which I am, it is filled with savage-faced messengers who do not fear any god or goddess. I have but to send them forth, and they will bring back the heart of whoever commits misdeeds, and they will be here with me. What's the meaning of my being here at rest in the west while you are all outside? Who is there among you who is mightier than I? But see, you have invented injustice as an accomplishment. When Ptah the Great, south of his wall, Lord of Antawi, created the sky, isn't it so that he told the stars which are in it, every night you shall set in the west, in the place where King Osiris is? And he told me, now after the manner of the netters, so patricians and commoners shall also go to rest in the place where you are. So he said to me. Now, many days after this, Osiris's letter reached the place where the universal Lord was together with the Ennead. Tehuti received the letter and read it out in the presence of Pre-Herakhuti and the Ennead. They said, the great in bounty and Lord of sustenance, LPH, is doubly correct in all that he has said. Then Seth said, let us be taken to the island in the middle, so that I may contend with him. He then went to the island in the middle, and Horus was vindicated against him. Then Aten, Lord of the 2 lands, the Holopian, sent to Isis, saying, bring Seth restrained with manacles. Isis then brought Seth restrained with manacles as a prisoner. Aten said to him, "Why are you preventing yourselves from being judged? Would you usurp for yourself the office of Horus?" Seth answered him, "On the contrary, my good lord, let Horus, son of Isis, be summoned and awarded the office of his father Osiris." Then Horus, son of Isis, was brought, and the white crown was set upon his head, and he was installed in the position of his father Osiris. He was told, "You are a good king of Egypt. You are a good lord, LPH, of every land unto all eternity." Thereupon Isis let out a loud shout to her son Horus, saying, "You are a good king. My heart is in joy. You have brightened earth with your sheen." The Ptah, the great, south of his wall, lord of Antiquity, said, "What shall be done for Seth now that Horus has been installed in the position of his father Osiris?" Pre-Heru replied, "Let me be given Seth, the son of Nut, that he may dwell with me, being a son to me, and he shall thunder in the sky and be feared." Then someone went to tell Pre-Heru, "Horus, son of Isis, has arisen as ruler, LPH." Thereupon Pre-Heru rejoiced exceedingly and said to the Ennead, "You shall shout to the world in jubilation for Horus, son of Isis." Then Isis said, "Horus has arisen as ruler, LPH. The Ennead is in festivity. Heaven is in joy. They have donned wreaths, now that they have seen Horus, son of Isis, arisen as great ruler of Egypt. As for the Ennead, their hearts are content. The entire land is in exultation. Now that they have seen Horus, son of Isis, assign the office of his father Osiris, lord of Busiris. Thus it concludes successfully in Thebes, the seat of Tebi.
I can only show you the door.
Wow,
You're the one that has to walk through it.
crazy. Wow. Hey, it's my first time reading the whole story for real. Like the whole entire story. Wow. That was amazing. What do you think, Menkhu? How many times you read that story?
I have not read that story. I'm gonna be 100% honest. I really love how it shows how we operated as far as like letters and our processes as far as making decisions, like court. And some of the notes I took was, let me see. Let's not exercise our authority ignorantly. I love that statement. Let me see. Oh, shouldn't we ascertain who is the imposter? I think Tehuti said that. And there's another statement that I like. I can't find that, but I like how some people don't know how Tehuti was a governor, deputy governor. The whole idea of authority and court and all of that comes from the followers of Maat. And then I need to read it again. I think there's a lot to process. But I also really loved, I would love to see what did the white crown that Horus was crowned with, what did that look like?
Tough, baby.
I bet you that was, talk about bling, I bet you that was an amazing crown. And then I have a really passionate interest in lightning, clouds, and thunder. And so when they said Seth should be thunder in the sky and be feared, that's gonna be a question. I have like a list. I have a list of questions that I have for Saba. And so I constantly have questions. And so, you know how Saba says he has answers from questions from like the 90s and stuff like that. Well, I have a list. I have the longest list of questions that I have for Saba. They just come to me sometimes. And so I'm really interested in like thunder. Like what actually is thunder? I think people try and tell us, so-called scientists have theories on thunder. I think it's way different than what we have. So those are some of the things that stood out to me. But yeah, it's a very powerful story and kind of examples and associations that we don't have of the followers of Maat. So it's a powerful story.
Hotep, Nini Uka, brother. Nini Uka to you, Robert Williams. He said, thanks for the reading. I never heard that story before. Robert Williams, good brother. That's why I'm reading it, because I never read the full story myself. And this is what we're doing. We're learning together and growing together. But I bet you heard of the Nina Pinta in Santa Maria. I bet you know the story of Christopher Columbus. But we don't know our own stories. So this is why I decided to do this reading, because I never... And these stories come to me, like which one I'm going to read next. And I was going to go with the two brothers, the tale of the two brothers. But when I started scanning this, I've read parts of this story in other books, but I've never read this whole story in its entirety. And I have so many questions myself. They was banging on each other for 80 years, going back and forth to court, getting different judgments. Wow, this was a great story. I'm glad that I decided to read these stories, because I have a lot of questions myself, and it's definitely interesting to see how our ancestors operated, so that we know how we should be operating. We know how we should be behaving, because the way we behave and the way we move is what our oppressor taught us. All the stories that we know is all the stories they taught us. So. Yeah, Tua for that great comment, good brother. So yeah, that's why I decided to read this, and it's a great story, and I definitely got to go back and read it again, because I got to go slow and go through it and decipher it. But they was fighting for 80 years, going back and forth to court, getting different judgments, doing crazy stuff to each other. Wow, it's beautiful. Ani, what's your comments, good brother?
Yes, Hotep. To our good brother for that reading. Yes, there's there's so much to talk about with this story, and what's brought up, right? And so of course, like we read with the council and what's known as the Ennead, which is the real word is the Pa'ut or the Pesht. The meta word is Pesht for Ennead, which are the 9, right? Which are the 9. I see Robert Reyes says, wasn't Heru an Ennead? No, Heru. Well, the first 9, of course, would be T.O.M, then Tefnut, Geb, Nut, Shu, and then Asar, Aset, Nebtet, and Set. So that's the 9, and with them being a council, right? And then we have pre-Herakuti, what they call pre-Herakuti, and then Atum. So there's Natiru everywhere in this story. First, it's the first thing we got to recognize. Bana Najeb and Ptah Tenin. It says brought before Aten, in which Bana the Jeb is the one who said, hey, let's have a letter sent to Neith, to Net. But even before that, Shu was the one, was the first one to say award the office to Heru. So you got Shu saying, no, give the office to Heru. And then you have pre-Herakuti, right, Ra, saying, no, let's give it to Set. Let's give it to Set. So you already have Natiru in disagreement with who should have the throne, right? Set or Heru. Heru is like, okay, well, he's the younger one. He's the actual heir of Asar. And then Set is, he's the elder one. He has more experience. So it's just like this battle of just going back and forth, like who's going to do it. So in the meantime, they're throwing down. And the court, I love that the name of the court was One Are the Truce Court. That was the name that they put in there. Tehuti drew up the letter. Tehuti's letter to Neith. What are we going to do with these two individuals who for 80 years now have been in court? So everyone's, you know, hey, what are we going to do? You know, these two are just fighting. Both of them want the throne. Ra's pre-Herakuti saying, give it to Set. Shu saying, nah, give it to Heru. So we need you, Neith, to tell us who to give the throne to, right? So leaving it up to Net, the great, what they're calling the Great Mother, right? We've had many classes on Neith and who Net is. So can you brothers hear me well? Shannon says my mic is low.
I can hear you. You sound loud, brother.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yeah, that's yeah. So sending the letter to Neith, right, for her to say, to give it to Heru, right? So now Set kept being infuriated every time we in court deliberating, a judgment's made, and now I'm Set's just going crazy. He's like, man,
Go outside.
yeah, he's like, let's go outside. After every court meeting, he's like, let's take it outside, and we're gonna have to throw down. And Neith was the same way. She said, well, you know, you're gonna have to listen, or else I'm gonna make the sky touch the ground. You know, that's a pretty powerful threat. Like, hey, chill out, follow what I say, or I'm gonna have to make the sky touch the ground. And so yeah, that was pretty powerful. And Set also makes an assertion for himself, speaking for himself and saying, I protect pre-daily, right? And we see that in a lot of the imagery where Set is at the front of the Aten boat with his spear spearing a pep. So he definitely was a protector of Ra on the boat throughout the duat to continuously protect Ra. So, and we even see an image of Set with the hawk head with, you know, attacking. So we always see that. So yes, you know, he says, I protect pre-daily. No other netter can do that. You know, so he puts himself in a whole nother realm where he's like, what I can do, no other netter can do. So of course I deserve the throne because I'm the greatest fighter. I'm the greatest warrior. So that was powerful there. He said, I shall take my scepter of 4,500 Nimset weight and kill one of you a day. Set was not playing. Set was, yeah, he was absolutely not gonna just let it happen. He felt he deserved the throne, and he fought for it. He definitely did. So we see that. We see a lot of magic in this story too, with Aset, and why she's the archetypal foundation for when it comes to magicians and magic, right? And the Neterets, with her being able to transform herself into different objects and people. She changed herself into an old lady to try to get with the ferryman and say, hey, take me over here. And then he did it, and then the pest then took off his feet because they told him, hey, we told you not to take no one over here, and you took someone over here, so now we're gonna have to take your feet. So that happened. and Aset turned into what they call a maiden and manipulated Set. So she played a huge role in this whole thing here. And so now they're fighting, they're in war. Set said, nah, let's go to the water. Let's turn the hippopotamuses and have fair one. First one to come up in 3 months loses. so Set was out there just like, nah, look, you're gonna have to take it. You're gonna have to sit me down. So here's the rules of engagement. This is what we're gonna do. So they out there in the water, and then here come my Set. She's like, oh no, Set done killed my baby. Now she done created a harpoon and shot it in the water, hit Set. Set starts screaming, and then he start talking to Aset. So now Aset, he's tricking and manipulating Aset, saying, no, I'm your brother. How you gonna do that to me? You can't do me like that. And Aset's like, oh man, you're right. I can't do you like that. So he's getting her into to remove herself from the fight. And now Heru's just infuriated. He's like, Moms, what you doing? Like, nah, you supposed to help me out. Don't listen to that. So he done hopped out the water, done chopped off Aset's head. And so she's still, with her head chopped off, turns herself into a statue. And so now, the council's mad at Heru because now you done took off Aset's head because you were angry. So it's just complete war, just back and forth, physical war, mental war, magical war, and then the semen being used literally for magical purposes. It's complete magic with what they're utilizing through the semen, and so going through that process and Set attempting to do the most worst thing that you can do to another man, right? To take his manhood. So Set attempted to do that. Heru was able to catch it and come up out of it. And Set had to chop his hands off because of the semen that was in his hand, which, that's the magic, the essence that comes from that person. That's that source, that light energy. So of course, with the Natiru, it ain't like how it is today. This is complete magic going on. So with how we're able to take these type of actions and this type of story that's far beyond human, just humans running around doing what they do, just being able to translate these situations into a way that can be semi-understood through speaking to someone just on a base level. Understanding that the magic and the sex magic and the ritual that we use through semen now, and what it's actually able to do and be a seed to grow something, to control something. So you see that in this story, and how Tehuti at the end speaks to it, and it actually responds to him. And says, hey, where do I come out at? And removing it, and then at the top of Set's head, Heru semen comes out because he just swallowed it through eating a piece of lettuce, through eating his food. So still taking it internally was still done for magical purposes. And Aset was the Neteret of magic. So that's what she's doing. So she's controlling the situation and what's happening. And for the semen to come out the top of the head as a sun disk, and Tehuti then Set went to grab it, and Tehuti's like, no, I'm taking that. And he put it on his crown. He said, I'm wearing that as a crown. So there's a lot of magic that goes on in this story. War, what war consists of, right? There's no rules in war. These are the type of stories that that allowed Maat to exist and be documented, right? To give you guidance on how to not go through this, right? How to live in order, and even finding through the ISFET, right? Being able to create the order, right? Have counsel, depend on each other, right? There's still a lot of trust involved, but this was them figuring it out. Like, what do we do in this situation? So they came to a conclusion. You know, Set ended up bowing out, and you know, what else was created from there? You know, Heru taking the throne, which then began to create the story of why the Par-EEs are Herus, physical incarnations of Heru, and what that means in the crown of the North and South. And right here, you just had the white crown, which would be the crown of Upper Kemet. So this is a very powerful story, beautiful story. I had to go in and find the meta netter, which took a very long time because you can't find it. To actually take this, you know, we have this translation, but to go into the meta netter, you know, as to look at it and see what it really says. It's definitely some powerful teachings in this story, and a lot of people take this story and bring it for debate purposes. So, you know, when you just read it from the outside in, and you don't understand the real teachings that's involved with what's being brought forth, and what Maat really symbolizes, and what it really means, and how in this process, trying to figure out where Maat plays her part in this. So this is a great story, and something that we still see echoed today in fights and contentions with one another. So yes, that was a fire reading to our great brother ATEF Maat. For that, I hope you all got some questions that you're going to send into the Tehuti pod class. I had a one-on-one with Saba over these writings, and that's not something that I'll, you know, give out here, but absolutely, because it's important to understand the stories that our ancestors wrote, and taken in through the context in which of how they wrote it, and not how people live and exist and think today, and try to apply that mental thought process to a story that was written in 1200 BCE. So it's important to be able to place yourselves in the thought process of how they thought, and them translating something that's happening the best they can into a language that they actually speak. So it's very difficult to do. Any artist, any writer knows, like, to be able to have these concepts in your head and to be able to bring it forth and consolidate it and make it make sense in a writing is something that's very difficult. It's just like a dream. You have a dream, and unless you come directly to and speak it and write it down, it'll start to fade. And it can definitely be like that when bringing forth information from the ethers. So yes, Hotep, everyone, peace and love. Hope you all enjoyed the reading. The link here, let me post the link in the chat again if anybody wants to come up and give some thoughts on this reading. And yeah, so for everyone being here. Go ahead, great brother.
quick question for you. Isn't it other parts of this war documented in other stories?
The actual contendings of Heru Set.
Just other parts of the actual, like the war of the fighting, not just that story, but like other parts of the story, or is this the whole?
Yes, this is the where the actual fighting takes place, when we see all the contention between them two, because a lot of the times we also see them working together, pulling together the Smatawi, standing on the both sides of the part EE. So for the most part, this is where the actual fighting exists. There may be, I'm not 100% certain if there's other papyruses or other stories that may reference this time period. So I wouldn't be able to answer that 100%.
Okay, that's a great question for Asaba.
Yes, it is.
Because I was reading and I'm like, okay, I read some of this, but it seems like I got other parts of the story from other readings, other stories, but it's all good because I'm gonna read them all. I'm gonna read every single papyrus I can get my hands on, every single story, because I feel like our ancestors left it and wrote it on papyrus for it to be read. They left it and wrote it in stone for us for it to last. So that means it's important. So I'm definitely gonna read it. Yes, Robert Reyes, deja vu, right? Remembering, like Ani said, we gotta remember. But yeah, this was a great story, man. I loved it. I was reading it and I was like having different emotions was coming over me as I was reading, because the fact that we're unfamiliar with it, I'm just speaking for myself. The fact that I'm unfamiliar with it, it bothers me. But it doesn't bother me to where I get angry. It bothers me to motivate me, because the stories are there. Like, I can't make excuses. I have all the books, and I read the books. I'm reading I have so many books, but these stories are important to us. They're not myths, and I don't like what she said, that it has no lyric. What she said? Let me see. She said it doesn't have any merit. She said it doesn't. She said this: the longest of the New Kingdom stories is perhaps the one with the least literary merit. Merit meaning weight. For there is very little in the way of suspense to maintain the reader's interest throughout the narrative. I was suspense because I couldn't wait to read the next line. I was curious to know what was coming next. Like, are they still fighting? Like, how many courts are they going to? I was in suspense. What are you talking about? But I think that's part of the trick too, because they're familiar with these stories. They're very familiar with them. So, and they take these stories and they create other stories with our stories. If you watch all the superhero movies and all the movies just in general, they all have some type of something connected to the Netters or the Anunnaki or something. Like, it's just, even they take a little bit and they add to it and take away, and so this was a great story. I'm definitely looking forward to reading it again. But yeah, and I think it's the ATEF crown you was talking about, Menkhu, because it's the white crown, which is the ATEF crown. The father's crown, Osiris's crown.
Ani said that's
Is that right, Ani?
That represents Upper Egypt, Upper Kemet.
Right, correct. Yep. The crown of the South.
Yep. It's beautiful, man. The link is in the chat. Come in the chat. Come up on and let us know what you think, because it was a great story. And I'm going back through it and just looking at it. Yeah, Set was he was vicious. Like, man. Wow. They fighting, going to court, fighting back and forth, fighting, going to court. Man. The brother said, what Robert Reyes said. He said, what did you say, brother? Was that he said the world, what did he say? The world could have literally been over due to this war, but instead it was created. Yeah, this is a journey, brother. We definitely on a mission to rise like the Aku. And what if Set would have won? What if Set would have got the oh man, that's another great question for Sabo. Like, how would the world be different now? Would everything be upside down? Because everything is upside down now. Like, what is going on? Yeah, I got a lot of questions now. I do got a lot of questions. Yeah, this is great, man. Teachingsofmaat.org. Come join us. Come up on the panel. Come share your tones. Let us know what you thought. Any thoughts you have. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. I see y'all in the chat.
Yeah, this is the image of Set in a falcon form with the wings. And it's beautiful because I always love to show this as well, because most of the time you only see the negative aspects of Set being talked about. And
that's Set, you said?
Yes, this is Set. And you know, because right here, Techeta in, and then right here, Satek, Neter. So yes, this is Set right here, spearing a pep, because that's what he would do. He would definitely spear a pep, as he was a protector of Ra. So for the majority of his actual story, it consists of this. And so for the 80 years, and you know, from the T.O.M papyrus, where we Set ruling for a specific time for, what was it, 200 to 300 years. So these lifespans are, so 80 years was nothing for the contention to be happening. But that's where we get most of Set stories. But which is why also Set is the same word for fire, because he was a representation of that, right? And it's also one of my favorite words because it creates a tut, which means to echo. Yeah, Set has a lot of great meanings behind it. Robert Reyes says, nobody got a restraining order. Well, I mean, Set did get restrained. Set did restrain him.
Manacles.
So, yeah, that was a real restraining order. He said, I'm going to give you an order to go restrain Set, bring him here in shackles.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I did? What I was doing is when I was looking at the, I was looking for the papyrus, the one that you showed. And the way they have it, the way technology is, you could go to the Chester Betty library and take a 3D tour. So I literally was going through the library trying to find the papyrus. It's having trouble navigating, but technology allows us to go. And that's not the only one that I've seen. Of course, I've seen the Shabaka stone and a bunch of different papyruses. But you can go when you're researching and you're just, I don't sit at my computer a lot like that, but you could go to the Chester Betty library, it's called, or museum, whatever, and you could go. I actually didn't find it there while I was doing the tour, but I did find the same papyrus that you found. But it's just beautiful that we're able, that this information is there for us. Like, like Saba taught us, you could hide the truth, but you can't make it go away. So it was great. I know, Menkhu, when you showed that museum, that video in that museum where they had all of our ancestors in there, it was kind of sickening, but then at the same time, there's always something that we can get from it, right? It's there. We can't go in there and take it all back at this very moment, but we can go in there and study and learn and build up and get strong because, Kemet was a nation. So that's what we're doing here in building a nation. But first we have to build ourselves up. We have to build up. So if if I took something from you, where would you go to get it back? Where would you go to get it from? If I took something from you, where would you go to get it from? Would you go to Ani? No, you would come to me. So we have to go back to them to get our stuff back. And it's there, it's on display. So I'm not suggesting you go rob the museums and go take back our artifacts. That's not the right course at this very present moment. But definitely, I do believe that our legacy will be restored properly the way it's supposed to be. But while it's in the museums, they have great ways that you can use your computer and you can navigate, take the little 3D tours, and they have a lot of the papyruses and stuff, a lot of the tombs on 3D. You can go into the tombs and you can go and navigate to them, and they are absolutely beautiful. I've taken some tours. I think it's one of the I can't remember. I think it was Nefertari's tomb. I did a 3D tour of. It's absolutely phenomenal. Until I can go there in the Upesh, and then I can go there, in the real physical world. Taking those 3D tours is fantastic because to see the artifacts and to actually see, and then I've had people go to Kemet and send back pictures, and it's remarkable. It's absolutely stunning, man. And we really have no idea. When I was looking at the quote unquote Valley of the Kings, and you could take a tour of there, it's absolutely stunning. They have so many videos on YouTube and of just regular people walking and with their GoPros and videos and stuff. I think one of the videos is called A Walk Through Kemet. Just different things. It's beautiful, man. What our ancestors left behind is not to be taken for granted. And to marvel at it, even from a distance, is remarkable. It's absolutely stunning, man. Them, the people that stole from us, they know exactly what they're doing, But at the same time, we can still take advantage of being able to examine the artifacts that our ancestors left behind. And I encourage all of you to do that because the more I see, the more I learn, the more fascinated it is to me. The more I read, the more I grow. It's absolutely fascinating, phenomenal. Standing next to you, brothers, is see those. Look at those two statues behind Ahati, the scribe, and I don't know who is that, Ramesses and Heru. Beautiful. Autumn Head. Beautiful statues, man. It's absolutely beautiful. And they have these images, like the image that Menkhu has behind him, that Saba broke down for him, what those writings say. I have them hanging up on my wall and never knew what it was until he broke it down for you, Menkhu. The point I'm making is that we have no excuse. There's no excuse for us to begin to learn what our true culture is as followers of Maat, because as our great teacher pointed out, it's not the land that built the people, it's the people that built all of those great artifacts, if you want to call them that, and monuments and tombs and writings, and they're absolutely phenomenal. So we definitely need to digest them and dig into them because there's a lot to learn, even like reading the stories. And then all of us here, right? All of us here, our great teacher, he teaches us these are not myths. A myth is just a story. It's not a fantasy. It's this stuff really happened. Even in this story right here, when you think about it, so the Nitiru is all in there, but then he mentioned the Starte. Those were Anunnaki. He mentioned two Anunnaki beings, right? It was two female Anunnakis was also mentioned in the story. So it's and now is the time, man. We don't have no excuses. So we definitely need to dig in and grow. Use these stories and grow. Eloquent Peasant, fascinating story. And these are examples. Ani's doing the instructions, Wisdom Wednesdays. It's no excuse, guys. It's no excuse for us to not transform ourselves like Kepera and grow into the Natiru, grow into the Netter that we're all meant to be, if we're meant to be that. It's no excuse. It's absolutely no excuse. And that's what I started doing. Is I started to stop making excuses for myself. I know that sounds backwards, but I began to do that. I began to not make excuses for myself. And the reason why I say I started to stop is because I began to stop making excuses for myself. Because we always make excuses. This excuse, that excuse, I can't do this, I can't do that. And when you make an excuse for yourself, the thing that you're doing is you're taking your power away. You're taking your power of change away, because if you're making an excuse like, oh, is this person's fault or is that person's fault, it's the system, is this, is that, then it's up to them to fix it. Then there's no solution for you to find, because it's not your problem, even if you're the one that's suffering from it. But if you're 100% accountable, which is very difficult to do in this era, because we're taught a particular way. We're taught to be competitive instead of cooperative, right? And then we make excuses for ourselves. But if we begin to be 100% accountable, then we can begin to change 100%. Because I know for me, and I'm just speaking for myself, I have to do 100%. I have to change entirely. I have to grow and evolve 100%. And I can see the change in just a short amount of time that I've been studying and learning. Someone asked me, well, I don't even know how he asked me the question, but he asked me, when did I begin to change or notice the change, or when did I get to the level that I'm at? He thinks I'm real smart. But the answer was that, it's a process. It's not a destination. It's a journey. So for me, I'm changing 100%. Everything about my life is changing. Everything about me is changing, and I can't do that overnight. It's a process, and it's my process. It's my journey. I'm accountable for it 100%. It's 100% up to me. I can't put that in nobody else's hands. So it's a process, and how I do that is very strategically. It's very slow, because I know that there's no going back for me. There's no changing. The foundation in which I operate from is Maat. But even that, I have to learn what that means. I have to learn what my Ren is. ATEF Rem Kem Maat. I know what it means, but I have to learn it. I have to practice it. I have to become that. I have to become the netter that I'm destined to be. And it's a process. And I encourage all of you to begin to make those changes, with the foundation being Maat. I'm not sitting up here telling you that it's something that it's an easy journey, because it's not. It's really not easy at all, because for me, it's my life, it's my family, it's my home, it's the way I speak to people, it's my whole way of operating. But I'm not gonna make an excuse. I'm not making excuses. So reading these stories requires a lot of discipline. Becoming the netter that we're meant to be requires a lot of discipline and commitment. And I remember before I received my Ren that I have now, ATEF Rem Kem Maat, I changed my Ren to ARCAD. And one of the acronyms for ARCAD was Achievement Requires Commitment and Dedication. And that's one of the things that I told the brother. I said, well, when I changed my Ren to ARCAD, and then I announced it to people, and they laughed at me. They laughed. and I didn't even really consciously, I knew that it was something that I needed to do. Achievement requires commitment and dedication. I knew that I had to dedicate myself to something. And at that time, I had never even heard the word Maat. I had never heard that word before. in my life. I never heard, when I changed my name to Arcad, I had never heard of Maat. I had never heard of Tehuti. I had never heard of the Neter, the Natiru, none of that. But I had made, but my but my soul, my ba knew, and I was motivated to begin to change. And I wrote down some things that I wanted to achieve, and it wasn't. This is the thing, guys. It was past material. It was past the material things. It was past money and cars and jewelry and all of those things. It was knowledge, because at that time I had said to myself, I had realized something. I said, if I want to do better, if I want to be better, then I have to have more options available to me, right? Because when you're in a particular environment or you're in a particular setting, you think you don't have no options, right? Oh, I did this because I had no other options. And that's a lack of intelligence, a lack of emotional maturity, So I knew that the more decisions that I had, the more options I had available to me, the better decision making I would do. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start reading more. I'm gonna start reading more so that I'll have more options available to me, as opposed to making excuses. So even that is what actually led me to my aunt. I said, you know what? If I knew more, then I could do better. If you know how they say, if you know better, you do better. So I said, I need to know more. I need to know more. I need to have more options available to me when it's time to make a decision. And the only way to do that was, in my mind, was to read more. I was like, I got to start reading more and taking in more, actually. It was taking in more positive stuff, reading more, taking in more positivity, and then eliminating the negative. So that was another thing that I did, was I didn't focus on necessarily eliminating the negative, right? What I focused on was bringing in more good, incorporating more good into my life. And then what happened was, slow as I began to take in more and incorporate more good, the negative started to eliminate itself on its own, right? And this is what led me to Maat. This is what led me to Saba. This is the thing. This is why it's so, it's so beautiful, because I wasn't ready before that. I had to make certain decisions within myself that would lead to certain decisions and would lead me to certain things. And it led me to Saba, because I had never heard of a Tehuti. I never knew what a Tehuti was. I never knew, I never, like Menkhu said, I had never had a teacher like that. And I didn't even know that I was looking for a teacher, right? But when I found him, I knew that this is where I needed to be, and I knew that this is what I needed to learn. But even that was a process. It was a journey. And had I not made some decisions within myself, it would have never led to this. Because then I purchased a book and I saw the word Neter in it, and it piqued my interest, because it wasn't Neter. It was 3 letters, NTR. I was like, man, what is this? And I looked it up. I was like, NTR. They use it to mean God. I was like, okay. I was raised, I was brought up a Christian, I was reading the Bible. And then, later on it was Islam. But the point that I'm making, guys, is that we can't make excuses for ourselves. We can't continue to make excuses. If we're going to become the Neters that we want to be, if we're going to rise like the Aku, then we have to stop making excuses, and we have to get disciplined. We have to start making better choices. In order to make better choices, we have to know more. So I knew that I needed to read more. I knew that I needed to learn more. And we never stop learning. Like, you should never get to the point where you think you've reached the pinnacle of something. You have to continue to strive. And that was what I did. So my point is, don't make no excuses. Get the books, ask the questions, ask the hard questions, and begin to make the small changes necessary in your life to become the Neter. To strive and rise like the Aku. It's up to you. It's up to us individually and then collectively. because a chain is strong as its weakest link. You know, so in order we can do this together. It wasn't just one. As you see in the story, it was a bunch of them, and they were all the best. They were all the best. There wasn't one better than the other. They were all the best at what they did. So whatever it is that you're the best at, then be the best at it. You know. So yeah, I don't want to keep talking, but you know, I'm just sharing with you, brothers, and sharing with everyone in the chat what's going on here and some decisions that I made within myself. And then it led to this. Menkhu say he don't like talking, neither do I. But here I am talking to you, brothers. And I was named the Techetu, the speaker for the organization. I'm still like, I still don't know what's going on. Like, that's a beautiful thing, right? I say that with all sincerity, and I don't mean that I'm not coming from a negative perspective. You know, we definitely have to we have to do better as a people. We have to stop making excuses. You know, it's just a beautiful thing. This journey that I'm on, this struggle right now. If I sat up here and told you everything that I'm going through right now, you would be like, why are you even up there? Why are you even talking to me? Like, what's going on? You know. But again, everything is ebb and flow. Everything is in and out. Everything has a season, you know. And again, it's up to us to make those small changes and be the best. Because I know, let me tell you what else I did. Man, I had to let go of all the social media, right? I eliminated Facebook, Instagram, all of that. We use it now. We use it now to communicate. But I said that it wasn't serving me. You know, swiping, liking, looking at people's cars, pretty girls, just, you know, looking at other people's, it just wasn't benefiting me. It was just taking up time, you know, and I said to myself, because I knew I needed to educate myself. So I said, I'm going to educate myself instead of entertain myself, because that's all I was doing on Instagram and Facebook. I wasn't, and then the thing is, I wasn't a poster. I'm not a poster. Ask these brothers how late it take me to get back to them on when the text messages. I'm just not on my phone like that. I completely made like big changes. Got rid of the stop. I mean, I have the phone, but I don't walk around with it up to my face all the time. I'm not in the company of my family and my phone is in my face. You know, it's just certain things that I had to do in order to grow, because I wanted to grow. It's a personal choice. You know, again, we can't continue to make excuses, man. It's 2023. Same thing with our diet. We can't make excuses about what's good food and bad food. We know enough. Enough people have passed and transitioned due to these diseases and these different things, these ailments that we get from this bad food that we're eating and these bad choices that we make. And we can't continue to make excuses. Our children are dying. Our family is suffering. We can't continue to make excuses. It's up to us. It's up to us individually to do what we have to do to be the best, period. You know, I love my family. I love my children. I love my people. But at the same time, I'm not willing to sacrifice myself for ignorance. I'm not willing to sacrifice my children for ISFAT. I'm not willing to do it. So again, I implore all of you to look at your life, examine yourself, examine your life, examine these stories, read the stories. This is what I'm doing. I stopped making excuses. Why I can't read the stories? Well, guess what? I read them twice. I read them twice a month now for you brothers. And we're going to be putting them in digital stone, right? So examine the wisdom of our ancestors. Examine the greatness that's within you. Peel back the layers. Peel back the layers that's within you, because we all have greatness within us. We just have to find it. We have to find it. I told them, brother, I'm not a talker neither. They got me to Techetu. they got me. I'm like, what? But I didn't make an excuse. I said, okay, this is what y'all want me to do. All right. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, I don't shy away from it. Even when I was presenting, and I still will present. But I never shied away from it. It took a lot, man. Let me tell you, it took a lot of invisible stuff. It took a lot of, like Menkhu said, when he does his presentations, they come to him. He's inspired by them. Like they come, like, and I know what he's talking about because I cannot sit down at the computer. I'm not there yet where I can sit down at the computer and start researching some stuff and put together. I don't even know how to work the program. Let me just say this. I don't know how to work. Y'all see how I be struggling with the mic? I got this machine. There's so many buttons on there. I don't know how to work it. They want me to DJ. They want me to DJ the event. I have the DJ system, but I don't know how to work it. It's too many buttons, right? But I'm not making excuses. But what I'm saying is that you just have to find the greatness that's within you. You got to rise like their crew. And it's in steps. This is why the first one was steps, the step pyramid, because you have to take the necessary steps. And we're all at different points in our life, and we all have different steps that we need to take to be great. So I encourage all of you to take the necessary steps to be your greatness.
I love that, ATEF. You know, I don't know how to describe it. Some of this stuff comes to me and I don't know where or what. But the thing that I was kind of dealing with today was, you know, when people say hold your head up high, that's what you're doing. And it's not a physical thing. I was like, oh my God, that is talking about a higher consciousness. Like I was thinking about the followers of Maat. They were holding their heads up high because we learned through our Saba Tehuti how deep they were, right? How accurate they were and the things they did with numbers. And so we see the physical praise that they were able to elevate with all of these monuments. And then we get to read about the spiritual heights that they were able to reach as well. So Tua to you, Tua to Ani, Tua to everyone in the chat, and Tua to our Saba Tehuti, because he is holding his head up high. He is the Saba, like he is the most amazing netter. So it's a beautiful thing, and we just got to continue to hold our heads up high. And so not necessarily in response to you, but just in response to this new museum that is built, 889 million, over 100,000 artifacts. For me, and I understand all the different nuances to it all, but the fact that people are taking ownership of something that is not theirs, of course, good is coming out of it. And our ancestors are not artifacts to be viewed. And so that doesn't sit well to me because there's no love in that. So I don't mean to be defensive, but I just wanted to share my heart on that. So to you brothers, and Heru to you.
To our great brother, great brothers, for your Nefer Medu, as always, is wonderful. Yeah, I echo everything that these brothers just said. So I want to show the support that came through. We got one person to support. So if you're here and you know you've been here and you appreciated the reading, please pay your tuition to the T.O.M. And show that you support what we're doing, so we can continue to keep doing this for you all. The links are in the chat, so utilize those links to show your support for what we're bringing forth for you all. Okay, so let me show that for the wonderful, wonderful sister Angela Gates, who sends $8 for what? The great reading.
Tua to you, great sister. Tua to you, great sister Angela Gates.
Yeah.
And new to the great melanated sister.
Yes, Tua, you're extremely consistent every week. So Tua for supporting us, supporting our great Saba Tehuti. and for being in class, and learning and expanding, in which I know you are. So Hotep to you and Henu to you, to the wonderful sister Angela Gates, who is the only one who supported the show this week. So give a special shout out to Angela Gates for seeing and recognizing what it is that we're doing, and keeping Maat alive within you and showing reciprocity, right? Showing reciprocity. So Hotep, everyone. Tua. Robert Reyes said, I'm sending support this week. Funds not in the digitals right now. Absolutely. Tua, great brother. We know you will. You're an extremely consistent supporter. So Hotep to you as well. The great sister Angela Gates says, I'll be sending more support this week. Absolutely. Tua to you. Absolutely. So I guess we'll go ahead and give our closing words. Henu to everyone. Peace and love to everyone in the chat. Tua for your attention. Without your attention, this could never exist. So Hotep for that. Tua to the sister Angela Gates for supporting the class. And Hotep and Henu to Trenton Donaldson, who also sent it to support prior to the class throughout the week. So Hotep to you two for showing support. Yes, we'll be back next week. And for everyone who's watching this on the playback, you make sure you all send in your support as well. Keep the reciprocity flowing so the scales stay balanced. So we also feel appreciated for, the hours and hours that it takes to put together these things for you all. So Hotep Henu, and may you all have a fantastic, wonderful week. We'll see you all at MetaNetter Monday tomorrow for those who come to the MetaNetter Monday class. Look forward to seeing you all there. And get your tickets for the Pathways to Awakening. Pathways to Awakening event is just right around the corner, a few weeks away. So it is coming up quick. And, if anyone needs any type of support or assistance in coming out here, or just reach out to us. And we don't want some small things here and there to prevent you from being a part of a once in a lifetime event, and being able to stand next to the great Saba Tehuti and the great brothers that you see on these panels, and sisters. So we look forward to seeing you all, meeting you all as well. You'll be leaving with far more than you came with. So it's going to be great. I look forward to seeing you all, meeting you all. It's going to be fantastic. So yes, may you all have a fantastic week. And Simu Hatu Natiru, may the hearts of the Natiru lead you. Pert in Hetep, or come forth in peace. So peace and love, everyone. Hotep, and I'll pass it to one of the other brothers.
Menkhu, you got some closing words?
Yes. Hotep, Henu, Nefer, Atef, Tua for reading stories. Very powerful to learn who we truly are, learning more of our history. And it's so powerful to not be caught in the lie. And the lie is the matrix. It's beautiful to, be taking steps into Maat and taking steps out of the matrix. So Tua for your dedication and holding your head up high. Like Brother Ani Ptah said, if there's anything that we can do to support you all coming out to the pathways, the Ptah of awakening, please let us know. No shame. We're family. Let's be united in making this a very special event. So Henu, to the brothers on the panel, much love and respect. Peace to the chat, and have a wonderful week. For everybody who's going to be in the Meta Monday class, looking forward to building with you all. Hotep.
To one last thing, great brother ATEF, before you close out for us. We are looking for a digital, someone who knows digital design, who can create digital artwork. So putting the call out there for anyone who knows how to do any type of digital artwork, please reach out to us. We have a position, a job for you. So if you know anybody, refer them to us. And we definitely want to build with the creators and the artists, the actual technical artists within our community. And even if we need to learn to transition from paper and pen to the digital side as well. Yes, we're looking for that. So reach out to us. And there was someone who sent in the support. So Tua, absolutely. Love to see it. Robert E. Williams, 1072, for introducing me to that story, ATEF.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
To our great brother.
Yes, Tua. Tua for that, great brother. We appreciate your support and leading by example. So Hotep to you, Heru to you. All right. Yep, great brother Tef. Yes, it's on you, Tua.
Tua for everyone's support. This was a great class, a great reading. Yeah, no excuses. This is why I read that story. It's my first time reading it as well. I have the hard book. I have the actual book, and I have the digital book. I have so many books that I would get lost in so many different readings. I've read so much, but it's so much that I haven't read. There's so many treasures and so many writings, beautiful writings that our ancestors left behind. So I'm honored to bring it forth and to share it with everyone. Just as I was honored to recite these different things that I did when I was in school. I took pride in that, and now I take more pride in reading my own story, the stories of our ancestors. So, so I appreciate you, appreciate me, good brother. With that, we'll end as we always do. Thank you for your support, everybody on the Rumble too. I know Rumble. We wasn't giving Rumble the love, at least myself. I forgot about the Rumble. So shout out to everybody that's on the Rumble. Shout out to everybody on the YouTube. Shout out to everybody that's on the chat. Shout out to all the supporters. We'll see you tomorrow in Monday Meta class. If you haven't already, it's very magical. It's definitely part of my process. And it's just beautiful. It's never. So Tua for everyone's attention. And with that, we will end it as we always do with our beautiful affirmation.
All right. Yes. One last support. I want to make sure I get this in before we close out the show. Last minute support. Eric G. That's it. 222 for support.
Hey, brother. Tua for that. Tua for your support, great brother, Eric G.
Absolutely.
So with that, we will end with our great affirmation, with our beautiful affirmation from today's reading, from today's story, The Contendings of Horus and Set, by my mother Neith, the Netert, and by Ptah Tatenen, with lofty plumes, who curbs the horns of the Neter. These matters should be submitted before Aten, the great prince, who is in Helopius, and also before Khepri, who is in his bark. And the Ennead said to her, "Don't be angry. The rights will be given to the one who is right." All that you've said will be done. Unki and Maat, Un and S, Nintet or Set and Maat, Min Hepapet and Maat, Her in Hu Kui, Per Iku. I live for Maat. I exist within her. I do not speak in the place of Maat. Every day I advance towards Maat. My being is surrounded in darkness. I come forth as conscious light.
Closed my eyes, then I woke up back in my bed. I could see my room as clear as looking through a lens. See, I thought I was awake, so then I tried to move, but my body shocked me like I was plugged in a socket. I started panicking and scrambling within my mental. I thought I died and now my body, I'm forever locked in. I was screaming, help me, someone help me please. But there wasn't any sound making it through my teeth. I could see movement in motion, shadows gather around me. How could I close my eyes already closed? Eating alkaline at this time, fasting reads so shocking. I was stuck in a paralysis, fear had me froze. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. I finally started waking up and coming back. I was in the opposite of state's effect. That's relaxed, I grabbed my phone and started to do research. Knowledge of what happened, I was in a lack. Insidious, the movie came direct to mind. Every time I seen this, it was connected to what's not divine. Demons crawling forcefully, holding the body down. Ain't no point in trying to scream, you will not make a sound. Deep within, I knew I made that a reality. The all is mine, I saw it, and so shall it be. I start replacing fear with knowing universe is mental. Talking to my subconscious to wake me up in dreams. Then one day my spirit guides came in so essential. Daylight's astral playing loud in my dream helped to set me free. I'm back in paralysis, laying on my couch. But this time I was calm, ready to exit out. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed. From what I read, I need to move my arms in front of me. See a rope and pull it, separate and then release. Now I'm out, I see my house is gleaming, I accept it. Looking in the mirror, staring at my car's reflection. I was so ecstatic, flying in every direction. This was months of subconscious reprogramming and redirection. Place my thoughts in my body, wake up, that's what I did. I was reborn from that day so I could start to live. It's time to shed. It's time to shed. I heard a voice in the back of my head. Rebirth, it's time to shed.
But I can only show you the door. You're the one that has to walk through it.